Welcome to the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging three-part series on Medicare. Part 1 is going to cover Medicare enrollment periods. You can reach us by calling 303-441-1546 or send us an email at medicarecounseling@bouldercounty.gov. We're happy to set up a one-to-one appointment to answer any follow-up questions that you might have. We are the SHIP Medicare Counseling Program in Boulder County. SHIP stands for State Health Insurance Program. So there'll never be any sales. We don't receive commissions. We're here to provide you with facts and information so that you can best make your decisions on how you want to receive your Medicare coverage. In part 1, as we said, we'll be covering Medicare enrollment periods. We like to think that this is one of the most important things that you need to know in order to avoid penalties in the future. So if you don't understand what enrollment period applies to you after having taken this section, please do give us a call and we'll go through your specific situation. Part 2 will go over original Medicare, what it costs and what it covers. Part 3 is Medicare Advantage plans. That would include Medicare savings programs, extra help, and just a little tiny bit about fraud. Before we get into the details, we'll just give you the briefest history on Medicare ever. Medicare is a federal health insurance program that began in 1965. It was part of the Great Society and the Lyndon Johnson administration and meant to cover people that were leaving work at the age of 65 and no longer had health care coverage. So it's for anybody who's turning 65 years of age or older. Anybody that has been receiving Social Security disability for 24 months, in the 25th month, you would become automatically eligible for Medicare. Anybody with end-stage renal disease or ALS, which is a common term for Lou Gehrig's disease. It's only available to people that are U.S. citizens or legal permanent resident, been in the U.S. continuously for 5 years. It's administered by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, and original Medicare is accepted anywhere in the United States or the U.S. territories. Medicare Part A and B enrollment is done through Social Security. Social Security administers the eligibility and the enrollment because they have your tax and your work records. Original Medicare Part A is your hospital insurance. That's if you've been admitted into the hospital. Part B is your medical insurance. It's often what we think of as our health insurance. It's doctor's offices and lab work, emergency room, MRIs, CAT scans. Most everything that is not inpatient hospital will fall under Part B, medical insurance. Again, enrollment into that is done through Social Security. Once you've enrolled into Medicare Part A and B and you've received your Medicare card or have your Medicare number, then you can choose how you would like to receive your Medicare coverage. If you're staying with original Medicare, you would add a Part D Medicare prescription drug plan, which is a standalone drug coverage. That's for medications that you pick up at the pharmacy. Or you could choose to enroll into a Part C Medicare Advantage plan that includes drug coverage. We'll go over both of those options in Part 2 and Part 3 of this series. Now on to the details of enrollment. So the basic principle of enrollment is that when you are 65, you should enroll in Medicare, unless you or your spouse are an active employee and covered under a large group health plan. A large group health plan is defined by 20 or more employees. So if you're getting up in the morning and going to work and you're insured by a company like IBM, or Boulder County, company that has more than 20 employees, you do not need to enroll at Medicare at 65. If, however, you are a contract employee, you're retired, you're on COBRA, you're in a small group health plan, 15 employees, you must enroll at 65 or risk penalties. Speaking of penalties, this is a biggie. What is the Part B penalty? If you don't sign up for Part B when you're first eligible, you may have to pay a late penalty for as long as you have Part B. Your monthly premium will go up 10% for each 12-month period that you could have had Part B but didn't sign up for it. Now we say here that special enrollment periods usually exempt you from this penalty if you are actively employed, like we talked about on the previous slide, and you have large group health insurance. You will have a special enrollment period to enroll in Medicare with no risk of penalty. But we like to let everybody know that this penalty is out there. Once you've received a penalty, that penalty stays with you for life. So we give an example here of somebody who, maybe they decided to go sit on a beach in Tahiti and thought they would enroll in Medicare and they came home. So they're 2 years late enrolling. So you take the current Part B premium, which is $174.70, times 2 years, times 10%, and you're going to add an additional $34.94 per month to that Part B premium. So instead of paying $175, you're going to paying just over $200 per month. Again, once you have that penalty, it's going to stay with you for life or as long as you have Medicare, which for most people is the rest of their life. So if you have any questions about when your enrollment period is or how to enroll in Medicare, please do give us a call at 303-441-1546. We want to make sure that everybody avoids ever having this penalty. Okay, so now how do you enroll in Medicare? If you're already receiving your Social Security benefits prior to turning 65, so say you started taking your Social Security benefits at 62 when you were first eligible to take them. If that is the case, you will be automatically enrolled into Medicare Parts A and B. You'll receive your packet and card about 3 months prior to your 65th birthday month. So be on the lookout for that. A lot of people think it's junk mail and they toss it because they're getting so much mail from insurance companies. So again, look for anything coming from Social Security or Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. You would also be automatically enrolled into Parts A and B if you've been receiving Social Security disability for 24 months, or if you were diagnosed with ALS or end-stage renal disease. So now, if it's appropriate, you can decline Part B, but we like to say call us first, make sure that's the right thing for you to do so you won't be facing a penalty in the future. But if you're continuing to work and you want to decline Part B because you have coverage through that large group health plan, you can do that. Coverage with Medicare always starts the first of the month in which you turn 65. If you're receiving your benefit, your Part B premium is going to be automatically deducted from that Social Security benefit before it's deposited each month. And then Parts C and D, those are not automatic, so you have to actively choose a private insurance company and enroll. We cover those in Part 2 and 3 of this presentation. If you're not receiving your Social Security benefits or Social Security disability prior to turning 65, you have to apply. You have to take action. Nobody's going to notify you. So if you're not receiving your Social Security benefits when you turn 65, you need to enroll into Medicare Parts A and B during one of the enrollment periods. You can sign up during your initial enrollment period, which surrounds your 65th birthday. Your special enrollment period is for people who are continuing to work and enroll in Medicare after the age of 65. And then there is the general enrollment period. We're going to go over each one of these in detail coming up. Little fine print there that we have at the bottom in red. If you're not receiving your Social Security benefits, you're going to be billed on a quarterly basis for your Part B premiums. That bill is sent by Social Security. Sometimes the first bill that you receive can be up to 5 or 6 months, depending on when your birthday is. They bill in advance quarterly. We like to let people know because sometimes that bill can be around $800 to $1,000, which can be a little bit of a shock. There are ways to set up easy pay through Social Security in order to pay your premiums or have them deducted on a monthly basis, or to pay them online. Questions about that, again, just give us a call, 303-441-1546. Okay, so where do you actually go to enroll into Medicare? Easiest way is to go to the ssa.gov/benefits/Medicare website there. That one is right here. It is online application. They will require, as a part of you applying for Medicare, that you create an ssa.gov account. And in creating that ssa.gov account, they're going to ask you some questions, random ones like what car did you register in 1979? So just be prepared for that. If you get any of those answers wrong, they mail you via postal mail a code in order to finish your application. That letter takes about 15 days to come. So we really do like for people to set up their account before they're ready to apply for Medicare, so that when you go in there and you apply, you already have your account set up and there's no delay in the processing of it. You can go into the Social Security office, which is located at 480 West Dahlia Street in Louisville. Their hours are 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. Last person that I talked to that went in there got there just after 9 a.m. and there were already 21 people waiting in line. So if you're going to do a walk-in at the local office, I would take a book to read. You can call the local office at 1-877-405-5872, or you can call the national line, which has longer hours. They're open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Their number is 1-800-772-1213. Easiest way to do it, of course, is to do it online and give yourself some time. Social Security gives themselves 8 to 12 weeks to process your application. So give yourself time to apply before you need the coverage. This right here is just a screenshot from the Social Security website. When you go to that ssa.gov/benefits/Medicare, this is the page that you'll see. There is a blue button there that says sign up for Medicare. Click on that button. Once you've clicked on that previous button that says sign up for Medicare, you'll see these two tabs. The top one is to apply if you are 65 years of older and you're applying for Parts A and B or Part A only. You can also, I believe, sign up here to receive your Social Security benefits as a part of your application. And if you already have Part A, say you took Part A at 65 and now you're 68 and you're getting ready to enroll in Part B, you're going to use that bottom tab where you're signing up for Part B only. When you get started and going through that, you will be required to submit a couple of forms as a part of your application for Part B. One form is the CMS 40B. That one, you'll say when you want your Part B benefit to start, the first of which month. The second form is the CMS L564. That one your employer fills out saying you had active coverage from the time you turned 65 until the time that you're getting ready to enroll into Medicare. Okay, now we're going to take a deeper dive into the enrollment periods. There are three of them. Initial enrollment period is your IEP. Special enrollment period is your SEP. General enrollment period is the GEP. You'll notice at the top of these slides we refer to the Medicare and You book and the page numbers. If you would like us to mail you a Medicare and You book, just send us an email at medicarecounseling@bouldercounty.gov. Include your address and we'll mail you one out the next day. Medicare and You book is good if you have any insomnia, help put you to sleep. Here we're going to take a closer look at the initial enrollment period. The initial enrollment period is 7 months that surrounds your 65th birthday month. We're going to give you a concrete example here just so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to say that my birthday is in June. I'm going to pick June 15th as my 65th birthday month. So if I turn 65 in June, doesn't matter if it's June 2nd or June 28th, I have the option to have my Medicare start June 1st. My initial enrollment period begins in March. March, April, and May, if I enroll in any of those months, my coverage will start June 1st. If I enroll in June, my coverage would start July. July, my coverage starts in August. August, my coverage starts in September. You can enroll any of those 7 months and you're not at risk for penalty. That is your initial enrollment period. Which month you enroll in will depend on what month your Medicare coverage starts. So you do have 7 months to get enrolled, no harm, no foul, and your coverage will start depending on which month you enroll. It will start the first of the following month. We like to see people enroll, if they're going to be enrolling at 65, enroll in those first 3 months of your initial enrollment period. So your coverage starts the first of the month in which you turn 65 and you don't have any gap in coverage. Now, if your birthday by chance is the first day of the month, if my birthday were on June 1st, that entire 7 months backs up 1 month and my coverage could start on May 1st. So if you have this chart, just go ahead and enter your birthday in that 65th month column and write the months on either side to know when your initial enrollment period is. Your special enrollment period begins the 4th month after your 65th birthday month, and it goes out into the future and beyond. We like to say into infinity and beyond. So as long as you continue to work, you can keep going until you're 85. As long as you're continuing to work for that large group health plan, you can enroll at Medicare in the future. We once had a woman who was 87 and just getting ready to enroll in Medicare because she'd been working for a large group health plan. So anytime 4 months after your 65th birthday month, you have a special enrollment period if you have creditable coverage. You can, if you're in the special enrollment period, you can begin your application for Medicare not more than 3 months prior to the month in which you want it to start. Questions about that? Call us. So who should sign up for Part A during the initial enrollment period? If you're working and you have coverage through a large group health plan, you can enroll in Part A if you wish to, because a lot of people do. It's premium free if you've been contributing the Medicare tax and have 40 quarters or 10 years of work history. I would have you check with your benefits administrator to see if the Part A inpatient hospital benefit would enhance your group employer plan at all. And they may advise you to enroll in Medicare Part A to enhance that hospitalization coverage. However, if you are covered by a high deductible health plan that is paired with a health savings account, you're going to want to not enroll in any part of Medicare if you want to contribute to that or continue contributing to that HSA. We're not talking about an FSA or an HRA. We're only talking about a high deductible health plan paired with the health savings account. So this HSA alert is a IRS rule. You cannot have any part of Medicare, A or B, and continue to contribute to a health savings account. The reason for this is that Medicare is not a high deductible health plan. So cannot have any part of Medicare and continue contributing to an HSA. We have a nice little handout on this that we'd be happy to email you. If you want to email us at medicarecounseling@bouldercounty.gov and ask for that, we'll send it off to you right away. Be aware that if you're going to continue contributing to your HSA, a lot of us want to max out those HSA benefits while we're still working, so we have it later on in retirement. Then keep in mind, Medicare, when you enroll, they will retroactive your Part A benefit for up to 6 months. So if I'm going to continue to work, and I'm going to work until I'm 67 years of age, and I want to contribute to my HSA, I can continue to do that. I will not enroll in any part of Medicare. I'm going to retire, say at 67. At 66 and 6 months, I will stop my contributions to the HSA so that I have 6 months of not contributing before I enroll in Medicare. So when they backdate my Part A benefit, I won't be facing any um, tax implications. So if you have questions about this, you can talk to your HSA bank or you can contact your tax professional. And we're happy to send you that handout we have on this. But just keep in mind you want to stop your contributions to an HSA over the age of 65, 6 months prior to enrolling in any part of Medicare. So who should sign up for Part B during the initial enrollment period? This is going to be anybody who is not covered by themselves or their spouse's active employment through a large group health plan. So if you're receiving retiree health benefits or you're on COBRA or you're self-employed or your company is a mom and pop shop or small, fewer than 20 employees, if you're not working, you're going to want to enroll in Medicare at 65, or you'll be facing penalties. So also any company whose employer plan is less comprehensive than Medicare. Generally 20 or more employees, it's not an issue, but occasionally coverage is less comprehensive. So anybody who falls into this category at 65 needs to enroll in Medicare. Medicare should be your primary coverage. Should you enroll in Part D, prescription drug coverage? If you're enrolling in Part A and B, we believe you should enroll in prescription drug coverage, Part D plan, if you want medication either now or anytime in the future. This is the time to enroll. Part D does also have a penalty associated with it. Once you have that penalty, it stays with you for life. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we cover Part D plans in Part 2 of this series. You must sign up when you're first eligible. Some COBRA plans and some retiree plans do have creditable Part D plans within them. There's two different options for receiving your prescription drug coverage. One is a standalone prescription drug plan that you would choose if you're staying with original Medicare, or you might enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that includes drug coverage. Now we're going to talk about the special enrollment period, the SEP. This is for anybody that is planning on continuing to work after the age of 65. You have to be able to say yes to this first question. Will you or your spouse remain an active employee in a large group health plan, which is defined by 20 or more employees? If you can say yes to that, you do not need to enroll in Part A or Part B. We hear people that say, well, my cousins, brothers, sisters, nephews, uncle said that I had to enroll in Medicare Part A and B, or I'm going to have penalties. If you can say yes to that first question, you do not have to enroll in A or B. You will have a special enrollment period to enroll with no penalty. Now, we do mention that there's no late enrollment penalty as long as you have continuous creditable coverage after the age of 65. We added this sentence because we had somebody who they lost their job at 66, out of work for a year, had COBRA for a year, went back to work at 67, and then a couple years later went to enroll into Medicare. Did they have continuous coverage? They did not. They went longer than 8 months over the age of 65 without creditable coverage. So she was looking at a penalty when she enrolled. So you can enroll also in Medicare anytime after the age of 65 if you think it's going to be better coverage for you. Say you want to have your hip done or you're going to have both knees replaced and you think Medicare might be less expensive and more complete coverage for that. So once you're 65, you can choose to leave your employer plan and they have to let you. When you leave work or you retire, you have an 8-month period to enroll into Medicare Parts A and B with no risk of penalty once your coverage ends. We don't like to see people wait that full 8 months because things happen. Sometimes you forget. If you're one day past that 8-month period, they won't allow you to enroll. Then if you have fewer than 20 employees in your company and your health coverage, then you have to enroll in Parts A and B at 65, or you will be facing penalties. Best time to enroll in Medicare is going to be during your initial or your special enrollment period. We like to see people sign up before their current coverage ends so you're not looking at any gaps in coverage. General enrollment period is the third of the 3 enrollment periods. This happens every year between January, February, and March. If you're enrolling in the general enrollment period, you may be facing a penalty because it means that you've missed your initial or your special enrollment period. So if it's been more than 12 months when you should have had Medicare and you didn't, you may be facing a penalty, but you can enroll during these months. Depending on which month you enroll, your coverage will start the first of the following month. So if you enroll in February, your coverage would start March 1st. This slide here is just a review of the enrollment periods. Initial enrollment period surrounds your 65th birthday. Special enrollment period is for anyone over the age of 65 who continue to work and has creditable coverage. General enrollment period is anyone over the age of 65 who missed their initial or their special enrollment period. You can read through these. If you have questions, please do give us a call. Here is our information one more time. If you need help, give us a call or send us an email. This is the end of part 1, which was Medicare enrollment periods. Part 2 will go over original Medicare, what it costs, and what it covers. Thanks for listening.